After years of waiting, fans worldwide can finally see the two titans of the comic book canon meet in an ultimate live-action showdown. On March 25th, the Knight of Gotham will take on the Son of Krypton. Sounds pretty awesome, right? Well, while Batman v Superman hasn't been released yet, the audience has been given hints as to why these two super friends are engaging in fisticuffs. Fans have provided a very verbal outcry to the conflict that is presented in this film. A common complaint has been that these two heroes would not fight, but instead come together because they understand what the other ultimately is: a hero. Honestly, this is an understandable complaint once it's taken into consideration that for years the common comic book fan has grown up with this non-adversarial interpretation of their relationship. Case in point, the Justice League animated show, which ran from 2001 to 2004. To many people, Superman and Batman were best friends for decades because they both have a passion for truth and justice. While most now see them as opposites, for decades they were essentially the same. They both fought for the same ideals but utilized different strategies. It's only after a certain point around the 70s that they became adversaries. At the time, it was considered revolutionary. The story for the film is loosely based off the graphic novel by somewhat infamous comic writer Frank Miller, but more information can be found on that in the Fill in the Gap episode on Batman v Superman, linked in the description below. While there are many similarities between the film and the graphic novel, in the end it's a moot point, as the movie is heading towards an eventual semi-friendship ending for the two combatants, unlike the very different ending of the graphic novel.
But I didn't have to go easy on you. A different binding agent, a stronger mix. I want you to remember that. I wanted to remind you to stay out of my way. In all the years to come, in your most private moments, I want you to remember the one man who beat you.
In the movie, they fight because while Batman was in Metropolis during the events of Man of Steel, he sees a huge risk that Superman could pose to the world. The battle with Zod nearly leveled Metropolis and showed how destructive and harmful Superman can really be. He claims to fight for good and be a hero to many, but if there's even the slightest chance that he could go rogue and use his near limitless power for selfish or evil purposes, millions of people could die. Superman obviously objects to being killed and fights back. While this film takes place in a fantasy setting, this conflict has many touches of realism. Batman is utilizing the idea that absolute power corrupts absolutely. As showcased in Man of Steel, Superman isn't slacking in the power department. But the Blue Boy Scout would never turn evil, right? Well, just look at him. His homeworld was obliterated. Then the last few of his kind come to his new home, Earth, and start mercilessly culling the people of his community, forcing Superman to face a difficult ultimatum, resulting in him killing one of the last of his own dying race. No person, no matter how super they are, can easily deal with that sort of mental strain. The impossible choices Superman is forced to make don't stop there. In his daily life as a superhero, he tackles problems as he becomes aware of them. However, crises are rarely, if ever, convenient. Inevitably, there are going to be times when, for all his power, he can't save everyone simply because he can't be in two places at once. In this case, he'd have to choose, say, between the destruction of a school bus filled with students and the felling of an entire apartment building with people inside. Because of how much power his abilities give him, Superman chooses to take on a grueling amount of responsibility. He has to make almost godlike decisions regarding whether others live or die. He doesn't just make these choices in a vacuum either. If Superman failed to stop a tragedy he could have prevented only because he wasn't there, the media would notice and hold him accountable. These failures wouldn't just happen once, and with the consistent mental toll combined with as much backlash as praise for his best efforts, the buildup of these frustrations could cause a dangerous shift in Superman's ideals. This shift could easily lead him into becoming the very thing that he's trying to fight. But then, of course, that's just one way of looking at it. If you have another way, please leave a comment below and like and subscribe if you'd like more videos like this. Thanks for watching!